Hello, everybody. How's it going? iOS 14 is out. How's everybody doing? Good question already right off the bat. How's everyone feeling about iOS 14? Oh, I am so excited. I've pretty much waited for this moment for years. Oh my gosh, my face looks very pink, but that's okay. Oh my gosh, are you serious? There's already a developer beta out? You gotta be kidding me. Hey, Antonio, over on Twitch. What's up? Oh, Top Tech Geek. What? I forget your first name. Sorry, I just followed you yesterday. Yes, everybody, just in case you aren't aware, this is going to be a whole live experience. So I'm not totally planning on keeping this on my channel afterwards, but it will be up on my website. So you'll be able to find it later. Somebody's saying it's a little glitchy, but nice. Okay, good to know. I probably have too many windows open. Let me close some stuff. Tell me what you guys are doing in iOS 14 so far. I don't know if there's a great way to share your home screen somehow, but get you all closer so I'm not looking off to the side the whole time. All right. Munir. Oh, nice to meet you. Oh, hello, Joe. All right, Ryan. Messing around with the Shortcuts app. Is there any way of using it without it going back to the Shortcuts app? Good question right off the bat. I'd say Siri and or the widget. The Shortcuts widget is going to be a major theme of this live stream. So you guys will see in just a moment. All right, everybody's getting in here. Nice to see you all again. I'm very excited that iOS 14 is out. There's so much with Shortcuts that I'm going to show you today. We're going to build some new stuff, set up some time automations and Apple Watch stuff because those are honestly still a little bit tricky. But yeah, I've got a bunch of shortcuts to show you, and I put a bunch of stuff up on my website too, so that'll be a good way to browse through and sort of show you it all in a literal way as well. All right. Looks like more people coming through, patiently waiting for Fantascal. I do have the beta. I will have to see. Maybe if Michael tunes in the developer, I can, or let me send him a DM actually. Oh gosh, maybe not. I have a lot of DMs right now. I did ask a bunch of people to DM me. All right, hello. I'm just gonna throw some. Hey, nice to see you guys. Love from India. Oh, hello, Jeff. I told you to say hi and you did. I appreciate that. Can I now run a shortcut that auto runs when I leave a geofence and have it to hit run? Not exactly. You can do time stuff and have geofences involved, but we'll get to that. That is the one major downside. All right. I think I'm gonna get started. I think I've given people a couple minutes to show up. Oh no, it did my thing. YouTube, I hate you. Every time I go live, it tweets that I'm live with Maddie Cox, and I'm not anymore, but that's okay because I deleted it. All right. If you guys do feel like sharing this or whatever, I totally appreciate that because that is a fun way to get more people in here. All right. I'm going to bring in my iPad and got that dark screen up. I'm going to do this one. Here we go. There we are. Put me in picture in picture. We got it. Okay. Bring this up. Face ID when it's down. Oh my gosh, it's glorious. Folders on folders on folders. It's so good. Also, keep leaving comments just so every once in a while so I don't freak out and think nobody's watching, but that's all right. Let's do this. And totally, like, ask comments, make requests throughout as I'm going. I'll be answering stuff and building stuff live. So I would say, let me pull this up too. Okay. Ooh, I'm going to actually record directly from that camera. All right. Folks. All the fingerprints. Oh gosh. It'll get back there in like 10 seconds, so Just happens. And also, okay, I'm going to put a couple more comments in here. All the fingerprints, how many folders you got? I don't know. I just added a bunch, so it's like over 100 folders. Just let me scroll this folder thing. But I also just go wild with it. So I hope... that's one of the worst things is please don't expect to build this many shortcuts or use this many right off the bat. Like I used to work at Workflow, the app that Apple acquired to turn into shortcuts. And I ended up writing stuff for the website and curated a lot of what was in the shortcuts gallery. And then also, or is now into the shortcuts gallery. And then I also wrote the documentation. So I know this app very, very well. I am like going wild. There's definitely other people who are better than me at it, but that's okay because I'm just trying to show people I don't want to build like crazy contraptions a lot of times. I'm trying to find little ways and examples to help people learn how shortcuts works. So yeah, since I basically ended up leaving Apple and going out and doing my own thing, and then they turned Workflow into shortcuts, and I was like, all right, let's do this. And now I've been doing that ever since. So I totally appreciate your guys' support, and I'm going to dive in. I guess I already said I was diving in, but that's all right. Here we are with shortcuts for iOS 14. And one of the biggest things that you'll notice off of the bat is the visual changes. A major thing that they did was update the colors from sort of what some people were saying washed out or just not as vibrant, because the year before they started out with incredibly vibrant colors, but now then they tuned it down to a little bit more dull, and now they kind of found a happy medium. So this all looks wonderful, and of course, I've gone through and color-coded every single thing I possibly can. In case you can't tell by my shirt, I like rainbow colors just because it's the variety of color. It's really great for me because I don't actually have to pick a single color. I kind of associate it with a category, and then my brain starts to go into it. So these are, up here is actually, this is a teaser for stuff I'm releasing to my membership next week, but this is kind of the launch, or this is kind of the start of my main library right here. And I've got these. Originally, I organized my shortcuts into what were folders before they had folders, because I knew once you get this many shortcuts, you need to do something with it. And I ended up choosing specific colors for specific certain subjects, like red for the new Red in Apple Music, orange I kind of picked for reminders, home kit is in the other orange, I guess, out of gold. So there's a whole variety there. And now basically as soon as we got folders, I was able to take those different color coded categories and drop them into what are actual folders. You can see here at the top, I sort of split one of my major folders into two different ones because that's how they show up in the widget. And so that's something that I'll get to in a little bit. Sorry, I keep looking at myself, and that is not it's a vanity thing. No, I'm just kidding. Ooh, I got to pop in more comments. I think I'm going to turn on the auto chat so this just shows up. This should be up there in the window. So that should be a little bit better. All right, cool. I will see that a little bit more from you guys. All right, so one of the most important things about folders, at least for somebody like me, ended up being the ability to just simply organize your shortcuts. But then where they really added it is the shortcuts widget, because every single time you add a widget, and my home screen is a bit of a mess as a warning, but every time you add the shortcuts widget to the home screen, oh gosh, toggle, you can set it to a specific folder. So right here, when you tap on that and hold, you can pop it over and then show your folders list. And so I came in here and started setting, you'll see in a minute, every single one of my folders that I possibly could onto the home screen, because I'm pretty sure I was listening to, if anybody listens to Connected on Relay FM, they were talking about, oh, I'm not going to go overboard with widgets this summer and folders. And I'm pretty sure I looked up from my iPad at that moment as I was adding a ton of folders. So that kind of was referring to me, I'm assuming. And I will get to some of your comments in a minute, but I'm going to do a little intro bit here first. So another one of the major things you might notice about shortcuts, in addition to the ability to organize things in folders, give them these nice icons and everything too, is it does have the support for the new iPad sidebar. So you can collapse this entirely and just browse your entire folders list, which is excellent. Let me just go through all the way once. Ooh, it's getting a little disorganized there. Oh no, I'll keep it at the pretty part. This used to be perfectly organized, and things got a little chaotic this summer. So I'm going to bring that back up. All right. One of the amazing things that you can do is, actually, I think this is currently broken. You could select doing the drag across sideways, but that's a bug for the shortcuts team to fix. I'm assuming that'll be out sometime soon. I've got another thing here is multiple windows. So this is great because if you're somebody like me, a lot of times you end up comparing one shortcut as you're building another one. Oh, here's my text case and some symbol stuff. So now you can have both of these side by side. Sorry, anybody whose personal information I'm probably going to end up sharing. That's not a great thing about doing this. All right. Let me see. Copy and paste of actions. Yeah, let me bring that back in. So over here, let me do a small size. If I want to duplicate this shortcut, now there is the ability to copy or tap on the shortcuts icon. Oh my gosh. It's going to lag for me. Oh, look, it went. Okay, here we go. You tap on that, and then now there are new terms for copy. And when you're in here, I think you actually do have to have pasted something first. Let me just drop in something from Apollo as a placeholder. Once you tap on that, you'll now see copy, paste above, and paste below, which is nice. So if you have something that's more complicated, or like a good example would be a choose from menu where you have many things filled out in one shortcut, then you can come over here. Come on. Paste below. And there you go. This is one of those things that also totally feels like, for a while, I found it really great. And then I was like, I don't know, I'm not using this as much. And then I used an old version and I found myself trying to copy and paste something and I couldn't. So this is pretty nice. Although I do think there should be more ways to copy and paste multiple things at once. That would be actually pretty nice. Oh my gosh. Don't pull a Chris Evans. Wow. Do not worry. Okay, another nice thing that we've got. Sorry, I've got a smaller iPad over here showing me my little mind map of all the things I want to talk about. Let me get that in front. All right. There is also now in the gallery automation suggestions, which is nice. Ooh, these just got new banners. Starter shortcuts category. That's brand new. But here there are automation suggestions. Automation suggestions. Say that 5 times fast. So these are ways that Shortcuts recognizes that you're going to use something, or maybe there's a good pattern with an app like your delivery. I want to check it every morning at 8 a.m. and have it notify me. So those are pretty nice. Oh yeah, I guess the starter shortcuts thing is, I have a category down here that during one of the betas, Shortcuts updated me and gave me these. So this is a great way. Ooh, you can try 3-finger to paste? Is that actually a thing? I'll have to try that. But these are sample shortcuts that they curated. Oh, wow. Sorry about that. I'm not sure why the focus is losing it. Too much white. I can fix that. Oh my gosh, it's drifting. GH5, how dare you? There we go. Sorry, when there's nothing on the screen, it lost it. Okay. Back at this. So these are great examples, and I love this one that's what's a shortcut, because it has a whole way of following. This is a very advanced shortcut, and now it can kind of walk you through all of the options. What's a shortcut? A way to use your apps without opening them. Oh my gosh. Is it still blurry? Okay, sorry. There's a bit of a delay on that. 3 finger to paste. All right, I have to try that. I didn't realize that. Let's do it right now. 3 fingers to paste? That is wild. That is so cool. Thank you. Great tips. All right. Tuggen and I cannot pronounce your name properly. And badged. That is sweet. Can you copy too? Oh my gosh. Nothing to copy? No, it doesn't work. Interesting. You can see it. There. Oh, I forgot to bring it back in. You can see the little dialogue there just barely. That's cool though. Interesting. Definitely gonna have to try that. So you don't have to tap on the icon. Good to know. Antonia's over there like mind blown as well. I forgot to put the chat up. Okay. So I'm going to switch back now. That is a great tip. And I think the last thing that majorly changed in how shortcuts was set up. That will take a second. That's a good tip as well. You can tap all shortcuts to go to the bottom or the top. Might need to work on the animation a little bit, but that's okay. All right. And then the good one is why is my camera is losing it with these autofocuses. Oh my gosh. Sorry about that, folks. All right. So I've got my little keyboard here. Going to switch it from my computer. When you hold down the command key, it will show you some new keyboard shortcuts for the Shortcuts app. It's shortcuts all the way down. Command N to find new ones. Command F to search, show, and hide sidebar. Let me do that for a second. Oh, sorry, this is a weird keyboard. Command Option L is just not working. All right. New folder, show all shortcuts, show automations, and show gallery. Sorry, I'm trying to tap these, but you can't totally see. But the big one is, believe command. Let me bring that up again. These are one of those things that become... there it is. Control tab. So you can control tab through all of your shortcuts folders, which is great. And then control shift tab to go back up through the list. So that's pretty awesome. Yes, it's totally intentionally blurring it out. GH5 is notorious for autofocus issues, so I'm going to blame the camera, not myself. Ooh, that's a sneak peek. All right, let's move on next to some of the new actions, which I've got down here in these categories. Seek is one that I'm not done building yet, but I was having fun with this group, trying to show people that you can basically, let me see if I can get this. I hope this will work. Sometimes they fail, but this will seek to the exact moment in the air tonight. It's going to fail. I know it. It's just not even going to run. This is... let me restart that. Restart that. Get some of these gestures going. Blurring again, of course. Just put this in there so it stops freaking out on me. See, this is the main release of iOS 14. Getting a little blurry there. All right, let's get back down here. Do the seek stuff. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Oh my gosh, I'm going to get a copyright strike. Okay, so that is a great one. Obviously, this is incredibly important in order to be productive on the iPad, is having your music seek to the right moment. So that's just a great one to be a dork. All right, let's bring this back in. And I see some more people tuning in, so if you are watching, please say hi. I'd love to teach you about shortcuts and answer your questions. I will do a little break in a minute and go back through and answer some here. All right. Some of these shortcuts are just built off of the stuff that's already available in the Shortcuts app, but I can demo some of that for you in a second. I'm going to go through to, this is a great one, is sound recognition. So this is a very cool tool. It's now a feature in the Settings app in accessibility that allows you to basically have your iPhone or iPad listen for sounds like the microwave or the front door and then alert you if it hears it. Let me actually try listen for the front door right away. Turns on sound recognition, listens for doorbells and door knocks. Hello, everybody. Nice. Thanks for saying hi. All right. Turn that on. Listening for doors. Oh, no, it's not going to work while I'm live. I haven't actually tested this live, so maybe I should have done that. My girlfriend's going to be extremely confused downstairs. Okay, well, that one's not going to work. Well, then I have a good example here of this one's reset sound recognition. If you're ever using it and have any of these set on, this will just go through and make sure every single category that's available is turned off. So I'm just going to reset that real quick. Boom, 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 boom. Hello from Greece. Nice to see you guys. Ooh, this is fun. So I went through and basically took every single one of those categories and tried to brainstorm different ways you could use these. So here we've got cooking time. We'll listen for the smoke alarm, appliances, and water running in case you leave the sink on. Then we got here, I thought help me keep my voice down was an interesting one for shouting. And I actually thought about this for anybody who might be on the spectrum and have trouble with your voice control, or just anybody who, like children as well. That could be an interesting, it's like having Siri tell you, hey, you're shouting, maybe is a little bit nicer than someone in your family telling you to be quiet. They have ones like listen for the baby, which is kind of amazing. You could set this down next to your phone and then have your, like, it alert you if a baby's crying. Although I was kind of like, I say it here in a disclaimer, like, please don't, dear God, don't only rely on that, but pretty interesting. I think a good one is like, I have headphones on us, so I can't hear some of that stuff. Then it would be good to get those little alerts. Figured also while you're out driving, listen for traffic or honking, listen for the delivery at the door. They could honk, even shouting. I thought that was just funny. They're like, hey, I've got your package. There's no way that would ever happen. All right. And then another interesting shortcut, listen for the microwave. This is kind of like, ooh, I'm watching TV. Hello from Israel. Nice to see you all. Got any shortcuts to pull GoPro video? I'll get to that in a bit. Okay. Sorry. All right. And then let me show you another thing. What's cool now is some of these are a little disorganized. Oh my gosh. Okay. I mentioned this before, but being able to select and drag multiple shortcuts and drag them normally should work great. This is why it's live, people. Boom, 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 boom. I should also mention, I'm absolutely going to, okay, so apparently you can't do that right now. Gonna file a bug report to the shortcuts team. Some of that stuff has been getting me pretty bad lately. Oh, I totally just lost my train of thought there. I was going to say something good. One of the new things that's fun in shortcuts is the ability to add both links to a reminder now and subtasks. So they basically added this in iOS 13. Not going to open on me. Okay, kind of. But reminders last year got the ability to actually have URLs and have that rich display, which is really nice. And then they also got the ability to nest under other action or under reminders. Excuse me. And now this year, shortcuts got updated with the ability to actually add that information in. So you can now associate URLs with those reminders and they'll show up in those nice little previews, which is very cool. And then I love how smooth iOS 14 is. Yeah, love it. And then the other thing is the parent reminder. So this one, you can basically run from any article online and it'll get the URL out, or you could run it just with a link on your clipboard, and then it'll grab the article and save the title as the task of the name of the reminder, and then the URL in there, and it'll even count how many words. So it's kind of like, this is a long article. You might not have time for it. That one's fun. This one also lets you go through. Let me bring that up. Super smooth. And I use actually App Toolbox Pro to bring in my reminders lists and then pull out the reminders and then add tasks underneath that single reminder. So let me just demo this. I got to demo more of these. Please feel free to remind me to demo them if you want to see them. So here I've got a list. Let's do something more innocuous. Groceries. Let's see what I got on my grocery list. I'm going to take this off for a moment just in case. Oh my gosh, everybody's going to know that I'm getting granola. All right, for some reason I'm going to add subtasks to granola, and it's going to be blueberry and cherry granola. And those will go through and add those tasks. Ooh, even cherry. I'm just going to put a note just because. Hell yeah. And blueberry, it's the bluest. It's the bluest. Perfect. Completely ridiculous. So now I have those two tasks in there. Let me bring up my reminders list. I'm gonna maybe hide this again just for a moment. Get them out. And oh, there we go. Granola. Blueberry, it's the bluest, and cherry, hell yeah. I don't know why I went with that, but that's okay. So that's actually pretty awesome. Like, you can have a whole project list just somewhere in reminders, and then you can use that shortcut to add subtasks underneath it and basically fill out an entire project all at once, which is cool. I totally forgot to mention, oh my gosh, you guys, you can get all of these shortcuts on my website for free. Let me bring this up. Watching Mac stories earlier. Just get rid of some of these tabs. Bam. Might help to actually show it. I have all of this on my website, on my what I'm calling my shortcuts catalog. And here's my little pitch post, but you can find it up here. MatthewCasanelli.com/Siri shortcuts. Where's the word when you need it? And I have all of these categories up here. I'm going to make this a little bit more visually appealing here in the future, but this is the way to get all of my shortcuts right now. And then I also have a list of all of those actions. So let me pull this up. Whenever you see this list here, not a great way to display it right now, but apps, got media, location, documents, sharing, and web, and then also scripting here. And so each of these also has different subcategories. Control flow, these ones right here are the same thing. I've even given them custom emoji. I gotta work on this spacing too, but this is a way for you to basically go online and see what these actions actually do, because this is one thing that I always found with the Shortcuts app is a lot of people don't end up going through every single action, and this is a way to let you do that. So that's pretty fun. And also then basically, let me show you, I think I'm signed in right now. So I have a membership thing too that you can sign up for, $5 a month, $50 a year. I'm not going to push it or anything because the stuff is supposed to be free, but I do have a newsletter as well that you should sign up for if you want to stay up to date with this. But what the membership does is gives you a whole bunch of extra ways to browse this stuff. So let me see here. When you go into an individual shortcut, let me just show you. I'm going to just do this real quick. I'm going to show you the private version. So this is kind of what you'll probably see when you sign in. When you find a shortcut, it is just a way to download the shortcut and then extra information about other shortcuts like that. And then here in my membership version, where'd you go? Back to here. when you tap on a shortcut. Oh, I'm not signed in. Where'd you go? There it is. Give me just a minute. Ask me some questions right now because I am totally down to answer them. I'm curious if you guys are checking it out right now or anything. Please, definitely go to my website and check it out because that's my goal, is to just make these available. I want people to be able to just have fun and download it and play around. Otherwise it's going to be all stuck for me. I have so much here, it's just like a shame not to. How's everybody doing? Say where you're from and everything. Also, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Still getting this set up over here. Sorry, just a minute. Madge wants to hear more about building the website. I will definitely do that, but that is quite a big thing. So I'm going to bring the chat over to the side. Can't read that. There we go. Cool. I bet there were shortcuts involved somewhere. Oh, you bet, good sir. It was shortcuts all the way down. I used shortcuts to log my shortcuts, scrape stuff out of the shortcuts API, put it into Airtable, pull the data. Then I use shortcuts to add more, pull the data out, add more in, and then upload it into my website. And then, so I've been going a little nuts with it. Nice to see you all. Hello, hello. Thank you, guys. Okay, I think I got it together. It is great that I picked the warmest time of day to do this, but I'm glad to have you all here. Jeff, I will get to that in a minute, but how to remember these is a absolutely valid question. All right. Got it back up. Let's do this. All right. Now to show you more of everything that I got in here, and I think it's from this folder all the way down here, all the way down here, all the way down to here is all currently available. And you get, as a member, these bonus categories. So I went through, let me just show you first because this is the fun part. Literally got a crack. Do some stretches. All right. Here are some more details about these shortcuts because, oh no, it's going to be going slow now that I'm telling everybody to go here. But in addition to just the shortcut and what's you get available with it, I've done all of this personal rating of this stuff. So this one I think I made it share Apple Music profile. Gave it a 4-star because I thought it was a cool way for people to learn more about sharing their Apple Music profile. It's not really obvious. When you go into the Apple Music app, you can come in here, go to your profile, then you hit this little button up here, and then you copy this link and then put this into this shortcut, and it'll make it easy for people to share. And it's a simple little shortcut because, here, let me even just pull it up. That might be the most helpful. I am going to get screenshots in here as well. So basically you come in and add in your username. And then it'll generate that whole, you know what? I need to update it because they just changed this to music, but it'll work anyways. But then basically all of these comments in here, I extract out and put in here. So you don't have to download the shortcut to see what it does. And then I also have the supported features that it includes. So this would work easily from Siri or from Spotlight, the library, or I'm going to have more information about these methods later on, but using the run shortcut action or things like that. And then I basically have all of these ways of, does this ask for input? Yes, it asks to show the share sheet. So it asks for a single input. If it had 2, it would say multiple inputs, or if it didn't have any, it would say none. And then it also shows the related actions. So I use the text URL and share action. So this is a ton of extra stuff This was like my passion project to basically have all of this information indexed. And I'll show you as we go along. I'm not just trying to like show off or something, but I can go through and see all of my easy shortcuts. So this is extremely fun because this is the way that then I have these custom. So this is still members only. Sorry to spoil it, but this is the way it's like, oh, these are my easiest shortcuts. These only have a couple of actions. So that's the way to learn about it. So again, go to shortcuts catalog on my website to see all of the stuff that I'm sharing right now. Then you get these bonus ways to browse. There's also bonus ways to browse the actions based on their complexity and whether or not it's based on the content stuff or a scripting thing. So there's a ton of stuff. And I'm just going to show you guys as we go along. But yeah, membership here. I got to work on that flow, but you can join anytime. All right. Sweet. Thank you for bearing with me. And let's get back into some of these shortcuts. So I showed you some of those seek ones and then also sound recognition and reminders as well. A new action that they added is the ability to show notes folders. So this is pretty fun. I made a whole set of actions built off of these. So just show my all iCloud folder. This is great. Again, one of those things I should probably make sure I'm not showing anything personal in here, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. So this is kind of in here, all of your notes as opposed to just the notes category. Let me bring that back out. This one is a menu of being able to open into any one of those folders. And then I also made top level things to match what I have. I actually broke up that organization, but this is a way to basically build a structure around your notes folders without actually having it match what's in there. So that's pretty fun. Open into my personal and Woolsey House one. And there's like stuff about, this is how we measured our backyard with the measurement app. Oh yeah, watch this gesture. Go into the middle and drop it. Full screen. Bam. So yeah, look at this. We use the measurement app to like measure out a canopy that we put back there. That was pretty fun. Oh my gosh, the grass is green. It's totally dead now. So there's some notes folder stuff that's on my website as well. Let me go through here. I'm just going to tab through these so you guys can see them all. Let me go back up. So Apple Music. Up next, Shazam, the smart home stuff. You can toggle your different devices. One fun thing, oh yeah, this is a great one. The Google Assistant has shortcuts now. And actually, I think these just got updated. Let me look for these too. Ask Google now. You can literally ask Google a thing automatically with shortcuts. This is a fun one. I did see Follow Don in here in the chat. Let me bring that back in. Backtap is cool. You can have, I did see MKBHD say this, so I'm not going to pretend I thought of it, but the backtap actions with your phone, you can have it run that. So you can double tap your phone to trigger a shortcut now. And so you could have that call the Google Assistant or Alexa if you want, which is pretty funny. I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys that now because this is fun. I do see Cody saying that I need a forum. And let me just bring that in as a full comment. There is, on my website, search for user group. And I have a Slack right now that anybody who's watching, feel free to join. It's free, and basically I'm just trying not to show too many people because I don't want it to explode, but I do like to talk with people about that. So you can definitely join in there. Let me show you the backtap stuff because that's the fun. Oop. Clear out some notifications. How's everybody doing? Please say hi. Tell me how you're using iOS 14. Tell me what your favorite widget is that you have on your home screen. And we're definitely going to get into that soon. Okay, people, backtap. Let me see. Where do I have? I will just show you my home screen right off the bat. Let me see if this is just out of focus again. I can do that. That's close enough. Okay, so I've got my home screen here. I've got a couple widgets set up, a stack here. fun thing here is that these aren't actually on my home screen at all. This is a Siri suggestions thing. I've got my shortcut stack right here, and I'll get to that in a second. Oh gosh, the colors. Too bright. There we go. Actually, that's too dark. There we go. And then this one is also not a single app on here. This is multiple Siri suggestions widgets. So this is completely curated by Siri. Apparently, this is the stuff that I use today. Lots of test flight and updating apps. Yes, it's fun. And I will say, I just retweeted today tons and tons of apps that use iOS 14 widgets, but I haven't installed them because I found about 100 of them. So most of them I'm not actually using. But now we've got the new app library over here. Open up settings, which is what? Utilities. Fair. Okay. So then you go into settings, accessibility, and I'm trying to remember actually now that I think about it. It's in assistive touch. Somebody help me remember this. Oh, there it is. That down at the bottom. Okay. And now that I think about it, I'm going to come up with a shortcut to take you right here specifically so that you remember this. So into accessibility. Remind me also, please feel free to comment if things get out a little blurry. This might help get some stuff in the background. So down here into, let's do that again, settings, accessibility, touch here, then down at the bottom, back tap. So you have double tap and triple tap. And I have these set to 2 specific shortcuts, but I actually have been meaning to change these. This one will turn off my lights in this office, and the other one will open the Notes app that I've been using. Oh my gosh. You know what happens for me here is that I have, you can see over here, 1,500 shortcuts. So I'm pretty sure right now it's trying to load the list of all of my shortcuts. Come on. This might not work as a demo. I wonder if this broke. I will show you guys in a minute, though, why I have some shortcuts for this, because this is a way. Oh, man. I completely destroyed my settings app. This is why they should just take my devices and use them for beta testing, because I have so much stuff. Oh, my gosh. I just ran my shortcut, and it turned off my computer and all my lights. See? There you go. No accidental trigger problems at all. Oh my goodness. Let me just do this. Hey Siri, video work. Okay, there we go. Back to normal. We're good, everybody. The joys of live. All right, back into accessibility. Touch. Back tap. Let me see. I'm just going to leave that there, and I'm assuming that's not going to work. So the point is, for a lot of stuff, I saw this online, you could have it do control center, it could pull down and do a screenshot for you automatically, but one of the fun things is that you can set them to shortcuts, and I realized, okay, I'm going to set them to shortcuts, and then I'm going to use those shortcuts to run other shortcuts. Again, shortcuts all the way down. Yeah, look at this. This is not going to go at all. You need to be live for all the bugs to happen. Don't worry, they also happen when I'm not live. Let me bring the chat back down again, get that out of the way. Okay, so basically I have triple tap and double tap, just blank shortcuts set with the run shortcut thing. Oh my gosh. I turned off somebody's lights. Sorry about that. So when you put in a run shortcut action, this lets you, oh my gosh, it worked. We're back. Okay, we're in business. That only took 2.5 minutes, was that? I'll get back into it because I just interrupted myself. But when you've got the double tap stuff set open, you can have it set to a bunch of system features, which are great. App switcher, control center, home, all that jazz. Let me make sure. Sorry, I got my camera's misbehaving up above. That's all right. Still coming through nicely. But once you put all of that stuff in, then you can go down here, set all these accessibility settings, scroll stuff. But the cool ones for me are shortcuts. And then, of course, this list. Look at that scroll bar. And naturally, it's in alphabetical order, which is fine. It's totally fine. I love looking through all 1,500 of my things in alphabetical order. But that's a personal thing that I request humbly of the Shortcuts team to respect the order of the Shortcuts app. Although it is decent way, alphabetical works pretty well, because now I know to go into D for double tap. So there's my double tap shortcut. Set it to that. And now, basically, when I come back in here, I can have this shortcut then be the one. Instead of having to go back in and wait for that menu ever again, I can have this one just choose the thing that I want to do. And this is also alphabetical, but I can have it pick a random Office episode. That's one of the shortcuts I've shared. Just the ability to have Siri tell you, hey, you should listen to, I'll show you, it'll just run here. Let me see. Bugs, of course. This is what happens to me, is that stuff just doesn't start. But that's all right. All right, well, that's a great demo, as usual. I also, rage tap on glass. It's obviously not going to do anything if the software is not working. Come on there. All right, I'm just going to move on from that bit. So go get those back tap, double tap ones. Those are up here on my website as well. Just here under, I'm not going to be able to find it right now, of course. Maybe accessibility. I'll have to double check on that. But, oh, there it is. Back tap. Let's see too. I'll put more information about these ones. Oh, you guys are making my website go slow. I appreciate it. So yeah, a simple one. It doesn't necessarily ask for input, although technically some of these, depending on how you use it, if you change it, it will. Designed to be used with the back tap and settings accessibility touch. Probably just should have read that. And then it's a good automation and it's a great example. So yeah, this is a fun way. That example tag actually is a great one that I'd say is worth signing up for my membership for, because these are all, I've got 30 pages of what I consider just good sample shortcuts. Like, how do I use shortcuts? Here's examples. All right, let me bring this back in and move on. We have got a lot to cover, so I hope you guys are chilling. Wow. I can't believe I just said that out loud. All right, let's just do one of those beauty scrolls. Can I take a sip of water here? Use the external trackpad I got nearby. Which, by the way, trackpad on iPad is very lovely. It doesn't quite work for this streaming setup, but it's very nice. All right. So, those are automations. Where is Apple Watch? Where'd you go? Let me bring this down. No, here's where I put it. It's in my Launchpad one. This shortcut right here. Change watch face. Did you all know that now in iOS 14, there are now actions for the Apple Watch app, which allows you to control your Apple Watch using shortcuts and any automation features that you might want. So let me bring it in here. Apple TV. Oop, that's Apple TV remote. Wrong one. Oh man, is it seriously not going to show up for me? Okay, there it is. Under watch. So watch. In here, we've got ping my iPhone. Here, I'm going to fix this focus real quick. Just to make sure. Okay. Got ping my iPhone, set always on, set cinema mode. I think that is theater mode if for some reason it thinks I'm in Britain right now. Set silent mode, set watch face, and set water lock. So a lot of those are great. I have a couple actions in here that let you change it. What did I name this one? The ringers one will go in and just turn on silent mode. Silencio, got to get your Harry Potter spells in. You're able to silence all of your devices, turn on Do Not Disturb, turn off those things. That's a fun one. Where did my Apple Watch category go? I guess I just set it underneath those ringers. Sorry, I have so many. Gets a little much sometime, but that fun one is change watch faces. And so I have a fun thing. I mentioned this on the iPad Pros podcast with Tim Chatton, where I basically talk through all of this stuff. You all should definitely go listen to that because it's extremely, I don't want to say exhaustive because that sounds mean, but it's thorough. We went through every single thing and I talked about all this. So that's a great way to catch up with this as well. But breaking news, I'm going to publish on my website too. I don't think I've seen anyone else talk about this. You can now have up to 36 Apple Watch faces, which is a lot of watch faces. They did come out with a bunch of new ones, but it's pretty sweet because now you can control those with shortcuts. So this shortcut that I have here, let me bring it up on my phone. That might make more sense because that's where it's going to do it. Here's my watch face. I don't know if you all know, but I live in California and we've had extremely bad air quality for the last month. Literally an entire month, so long so that I have forgotten what it's I forgot to go on walks anymore because it's been so bad. So that's been a little intense. Okay, let me get this up. But yeah, very thankful that it's 15 right now. That is glorious. I feel like a king. So change watch face. Let me get this down here, this over here. Keep these all at the same level so you can actually see it. So this one is, I can just have it, change my watch face. Which group? Okay, I have these personal groups. You know what? I just realized this is going to fail on me, isn't it? Because I didn't set some of these. All right, I'm going to make sure I pick one that works. Going to set it to my work one and chunky. My watch face has been updated. No, it isn't. Oh my gosh, is this also not going to work? Ah, there we go. Okay, it was sleeping. So yeah, that's great. I love this one. This is so cool. Just this action alone lets me get in and go, boom, change from my different ones. And what I love about this is you get to name them. Like I have a now playing one, but it doesn't ever say that. Watch face updated. Get a little refresh there. Boom. This one is awesome. I highly recommend this, and I will get it into a minute, but the personal automations in shortcuts now have time automations that run without asking. It's a kind of confusing terminology, but they are actually automatic at any time of day, which means you can have a morning watch face, a daytime face, an evening watch face, an afternoon watch face, sleep watch face, and they can automatically be set by shortcuts using the time automations. This is a way to run it manually and change everything around, but the time automations plus the Apple Watch face is like literally every single person should do that because it's amazing. I also think, I'll show you in a second too, but you can hide home screens on iOS, and we need change home screen action. Ooh, 14.1 shortcuts team. Please give that to us because that would be fantastic. Got some questions in here about the stacks, and those are, thanks everybody for helping out. That's awesome. All right. I think that's mostly it for the Apple Watch stuff. That's not crazy exciting. Sorry, I don't like to use that word. Another good one I created is Stonks. The Stocks app got new action. Oops, sorry about that. That would have been better if I was actually showing you guys everything, but, and I'm not doing it again. There we go. I'm gonna take a quick breather. So the Stocks app, these are ones that I named these because I would love for this to be just the perfect of, Siri, check the markets. Siri, how's the market doing? Siri, grab a stock record for me. How's Apple? Check how Apple did today. So those are supposed to be just like, yes, digital assistant, tell me how the markets are doing today. I would love to know. Yes, the markets are, that's a 10-year span. Fine, I guess. Kind of. Oh, okay, not so great. How's the market doing itself? Just straight from Pop over. The NASDAQ is down. I know what that means. That's not good or bad. What's the symbol? Apple. Okay. Let's see how much we all wish we invested in Apple stock. The 72-week high is 139. Actually, no, that's not crazy. Then it'll open it in Yahoo Finance. This stuff is all built into the actions itself. Let me show you. What's the symbol? Get the stock quote. And then in here, it's even part of the stock is the info URL from Yahoo. Stonks. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Honestly, I bet many people watching this don't have a bunch of stocks, but if you do, probably pretty useful. All right. Measurement stuff. This has actually been available. I'm just going to skip that one. Let me see here. I will follow my list. The Apple TV. Ooh, these ones are also good. So now they have a whole new set of actions. Let me bring this up as well in a second window. Don't forget you can do second windows. Even what's great is you can have multiple second windows in slide over. I like to do this to like set my, well, if it wasn't lagging on me. 1:30 a.m. from Norway. Dear God. Thank you for watching. Also, maybe go to sleep. All right. Yeah, that's right. Doing a new action. Bring up the Apple TV remote stuff. This is pretty fun. Cool. Just take a moment here. Wait for them bugs. Anybody got a favorite app they're using for iOS 14 while we wait for this to load? Oh my gosh, 2:30 a.m. there? Dear Lord. Okay, that's not going to happen. Let me just open up some of these. Those are all frozen as well. Get rid of them. Maybe I'll bring up this category on my website. Sometimes that's got to be a little bit faster. Oh, it went. One of the nice things is I have organized these so much that I can remember where they are in the list. All right, subtitles are a great one. You can just turn on the captions. Like, awesome. Especially, I haven't used this much, but these are ones that people, if you have a HomePod, should try to use, because then this is like a HomePod control of Apple TV in ways that it should already be able to be controlled. But all right, this one, what did they just say? This is something that the Apple TV can do natively when you ask Siri, but there's the skip action now. Turn on captions, and let me just toggle it. And then wait 30 seconds, and then turn them off. So it's kind of like, hey, hello, what did they just say? And then I'll just do it real quick. Let me bring these up over on this side. Turn on the screensaver. Ooh, I love this one. That is just turns on those 4K screensavers, gliding through. It's like you could have just a relax mode where it turns on peaceful music and just takes you to the China landscapes or something like that. Those are always pretty cool. Also in tvOS 14, I don't know what it is. In tvOS, you can now customize which of those screensavers it shows you, and doesn't show some of the ones that if you don't like them or something like that, you're like, please don't show me those anymore. So that's kind of cool. Could use that with that. Switch TV accounts. This is an interesting one. I'm not sure how many people actually use the TV account stuff. I don't think I have all these published. I've got multiple categories there. I'll have to figure that out. But basically this lets you just switch it real quick. And I actually had, where did it? Matthew mode. This was what I figured. I don't know why it's doing that, but okay, you'll see that in a second. The Matthew mode one is, I basically just figured you can make one of these for every person in your family who uses the Apple TV, and they could have their personal preferences. So this shortcut will switch to dark mode and then switch the user account and then turn on the captions or turn on reduce sounds and things like that. So if it's your preference, like, oh, I love light mode, then you could have this shortcut. It'll automatically switch to your profile, turn on light mode, and do all that. And maybe you like these somewhere else. These should be live matched. I'm not sure where they're not. I think it might be in a different... I might have multiple categories. Maybe I accidentally have some of my iOS 14 stuff not live yet, but I'll see. It's definitely a little... Yes, please feel free to DM me if you have problems with the website. I am honestly not a web developer, so I do have some issues with some of the redirects and things like that. All right, I'm going to show you a couple more categories. Rideshare stuff. This is stuff, I haven't actually released these ones. Crashes, of course, because I try not to release shortcuts that don't work or I haven't really tested. I do know generally that a shortcut could work, but I don't want to take an Uber somewhere during a pandemic just to test whether the action works or not. So if anybody is taking Uber or Lyft, you can now say, like, I need a ride. How many people? Where are you headed? Search nearby for that place. Make sure you confirm the right venue, and then it'll call a car with Uber, which is cool. But again, not really testing these myself right now. I do not want to go out in a car if not necessary. The other one is that Apple Maps now has biking directions in some areas, so you're able to go in and basically have shortcuts automatically open into those biking directions. It used to be able to do this for Google Maps, but in addition, but now Apple Maps actually has it, which is great. And I set up some other ones, like if you always bike home, you can have this set to your actual home address, or this is a fun one. You can search for attractions nearby, choose from one of them, and then get biking directions there. So it's like, okay, Alcatraz. No, that was a fail. Obviously not that, but these are a lot in San Francisco. I'm not sure why it thinks I'm there, but within 1 mile. All right. So those are the maps for request ride and biking, which is fun. Ooh, okay, I saw those Apple categories before. I've got a couple here I'll get to in a second, but now you can start workouts on the Apple Watch as well. That was the one I forgot. So this doesn't show it here, but I like to go on outdoor walks and log my walks all the time. And so this is a pretty fun way to have it automatically set to my AirPods and then turn on transparency so I don't get hit by a car. Start that walk for me. And then I like to log the UV index because I'm kind of a nerd. It's like, was it really sunny out? Maybe that's why I got messed up. So that's pretty fun. Robin said he found, what did they just say? That's good. And you can run all different types of workouts. Here, let me pull it up on the phone. How you folks doing? Still doing good? There's a lot of people. Is there seriously 600 people watching right now? Because that is wild. Thank you for watching. I absolutely appreciate that. I'm going to retweet myself again. I'm going to do a couple more of these demos and then some of the automation stuff, and then I'm going to do widgets. Is everybody doing good? I'm going to take a moment to catch my breath because I don't want to overdo it. So I hope you all are chilling, and feel free to leave some comments. I'm going to do a session of that here and after all that as well. Thanks for hanging out, folks. All right. Okay, so we have been talking about shortcuts for iOS 14. There is so much. Let me get this back in here. Just going to command tab through some of my categories again so you guys can see this. Oh, Wrong spot. Oh no, my keyboard's switched to the wrong spot. Let's go back through some of these again. Launchpad, got these from each of my different categories. Music, reminders, home, stuff like that. Launchpad part 2, just more of that. And you can see here, I'll just show you this widget. These are just 2 parts of the same one. Sorry, Joe, something's wrong and your widget is not working. So I'm gonna have to get rid of this real quick. Brutal. All right, so then I just have like part 1, part 2, because shortcuts actually used to show more per widget and now only shows 8, but that's okay. It actually has helped me to break these categories down into smaller little chunks, because then I'm not over here having like a 45, like this one, there's a couple that are the exceptions. Sound recognition is all the same type of thing. And I really only expect people who are going to download any of these from my website to get like a couple. So definitely don't think that you have to get all of those. Oh, we got Ricky Ricardo. Solid name. All right, so a couple more of these are stuff that I built for the automations. We've got wind down is a new feature of iOS 14 where at the nighttime it will let you night match. It will let you run a set of shortcuts ahead of your bedtime. So like wind down is 45 minutes before bed. There's a shortcuts button that pops up on the lock screen itself, and then it'll show a list of these shortcuts. And so I built a couple of these specifically for like, what do I want to do during the evening? So those are great. You can set that. It's honestly a little bit complex, but I have a separate shortcut that I'm going to release in that newsletter tomorrow. Health stats. This one, okay, well, it's not going to work on the iPad because there's no thing there. But the health app will donate actions whenever you go in and tap on a different category. It donates that into the Shortcuts app, and then Shortcuts itself can open into that category. So this one is sleep, and I just have edit sleep schedule. I realized, okay, if I need to edit that thing, it will take me into this category, and then wind down is right down there. So yeah, that one's a pretty fun one. You'll be able to get that tomorrow morning. Oh man, Joe's watching. Don't worry, you're good. People should definitely get Timery. It's a fantastic time tracking app. All right, let me go back in there. So in this sleep stuff, let me even see if I get this right because it's still a little confusing. Full schedule. Then down here, there's wind down shortcuts. And they like to have you, let me see, they suggest wind down stuff somewhere. I can't remember right now. I'll have to go back and check that. But when they suggest things, oh yeah, they want you to do these recommended groups of categories, which is pretty nice. Like these are all health related apps that you might have on your phone, or it'll show you stuff from the App Store itself. Like this is a super, super powerful feature. Wind down is great. So, so it's like, oh, you might want to listen to Tidal or relaxing music and stuff like that. So this is pretty cool. These are all suggested off of like, I have all of these different things. Do I want to listen to Connected right before I go to sleep? No offense, guys, but I don't listen to podcasts before I go to sleep. That's not exactly the same as sleep sounds. But so you've got all of these things are suggested, which is fantastic. Even if you just aren't totally sure how to use shortcuts, this alone is a great way to get started and kind of give you some ideas. But once you add any of those into the shortcuts and set them, the Shortcuts app here will now get a wind down category and only on iPhone. Or I guess it'll show up on iPad if you have them set there. Nope. Okay. This is not going to behave for me. Man. iOS 14 is a little bit buggy, peeps, but it happens. Oh my goodness, 770 people watching. That is wild. Thank you so much. I feel like that's not right. My brain is like, that can't possibly be true. All right, we've got that sleep stuff here. Get back to the shortcuts thing. All right, that's right. I was going to show you the folder. So then here, now you can see this. I guess they're calling it sleep mode. It's confusing, but those shortcuts then show up there. So you can, once you've set those shortcuts in the wind down screen, you can have all of your custom shortcuts in the Shortcuts app and move them into this category. So I wouldn't recommend doing more than a handful, but it's still going to be a really nice feature. And that's a great way to just use stuff. Everybody goes to sleep, so it's a very common use case. Oh, and there's another crash. All right. Then the other two things are based off of automations, and let me show you those here. I'll just check real quick. Before I switch on to those, I want to show you one last action that I haven't mentioned. They have two now, actually two, is the open shortcut action, and then get shortcuts also got updated to show folders. I see a quick question that I'll answer. This will be available to rewatch later on my website, but I'm not going to keep it on YouTube. I actually might, because a lot of people are watching, but I don't know. Let me know if you do want to rewatch it, because I just did kind of design this to be more live and not necessarily super rewatchable, but we'll see. But basically, then you can get shortcuts from an individual folder, pick the shortcut from that, and then open right into it. I decided this was really is how you edit a shortcut. So it's like, okay, I want to go in and edit one of my handwriting shortcuts and the copy handwriting action, and this will just take me right to it. So I feel like this action was built for me, and I love it. Thank you, Shortcuts team. Like, I'm going to use this more than anybody else in the world, so that's awesome. All right, I just wanted to say that. I love this stuff so much. All right. So, I mentioned it before. Oh, wait. Oh, no, I almost forgot another one. You can technically remove from shared albums the same way you can post to them. Real quick, throw that out there. I'm going to have a more comprehensive video on all the actions coming out soon. So, the big one this year is time automations. And I don't actually have any set up, or I have a couple set up right now on my iPad, but I don't have as many as I used to, and that's because they got deleted. So I am not going to do a ton now, but I am going to do another live stream soon. I will look for it on my website, but I will be showing you guys a bunch of time automations and how to set them up. But new automations now, we have email and message as triggers, so that, and these ones are not automatic, so I'll go through each of those as well. But whenever you get an email in and it can say a specific thing or be from a specific person, you can have it's like the best use case that I thought for from when I was more regularly employed was just a weekly report. Is somebody saying, I need the weekly report. And then you could run your shortcut and it could generate that for you, that kind of thing. Another one is messages. When my mom messages me, I have my co-host of the podcast that I do on the This Week in Tech network. It's called Smart Tech Today with Micah Sargent. We record every Monday at 11 a.m. if you guys want to tune in live, but it's also out Monday afternoons. But basically, I wanted this to, whenever I talk to him, I want to be able to jump into my podcasting folder and do a lot of the things associated with talking to him. So that's pretty fun. Some new ones. There used to be the open app action that's now switched to just app, and it can be open or closed. And this one, I was talking about the Timery app over there in the widget before. This is the best automation for time tracking. Anytime I open LumaFusion, my video production timer can start. Anytime I open Twitter, it can stop and say, hey, you're wasting time. Please stop going on Twitter or something like that. So these are really, really, really powerful. Like any app that you can use can kick off a shortcut right away the second you open it, or when you close it, it could switch back or something like that. So those are very cool. And then the ones that I was going to show you here are battery level and charger. So let me bring over, I unplugged it, but just for demonstration purposes, when you set your phone down, it can have it be a trigger. And then when you take your phone off, it can be a trigger. Or when your phone gets to 80%, it can send you a little alert and say, hey, I'm mostly charged, you're good to go. Or when your phone is low on battery, you can have like an ultra low battery warning that's like at 5%. It's like, please get to a charger. Your phone's gonna die. So that would be a good one. Those ones are pretty fun. And I think even a great way to kind of have more opportunities to have your shortcuts happen for you. But the big one, and the one, this is always the confusing part for a lot of people, is time of day. So time of day shortcuts as automations have always been possible, but the big problem with a lot of automations is that if you have this next screen, or right here, ask before running, if this is turned on or is just simply not available, the automation will just show you a notification like this. And also, here's a really good indicator. This means it requires you to open up the shortcut and run it. These automations don't automatically go off. They have to be triggered by the manual thing. So it's kind of like a way to trigger a way that you could then run the shortcut, and you don't necessarily always want it to run, but you want to decide in real time if it's possible. That's how you would use that. But the very cool part is now time of day has gained that toggle. Previously just didn't have it. This is my favorite dialogue ever. Don't ask before running. Whenever this automation is triggered, it will perform actions on your behalf without asking first. Cancel or don't ask. So if you select don't ask, then at that time of day, the shortcut will just run, which is very, very cool. This was not possible last year. And I'm pretty sure Apple was convinced because so many people in the community were like, we need this. I can't believe it doesn't do this. It feels useless without it. One of the comments in there, totally fair, is like, I wish this location triggers did it. Although I think there's some security problems with having, like, if you just got somewhere and suddenly your lights turned on and like, or, I mean, I always think of it in terms of, it's always a little bit sad, but thinking of stuff in terms of abuse is a great way of, if you just suddenly appeared somewhere and somebody had set a shortcut on your phone that then logged your location and sent it to them or something, there's some weird stuff that could kind of happen. So I think they're kind of opted to be more secure, but we got those time automations. And so this is another great way, actually, that some of the stuff on my website can be really helpful, because that stuff about, does it ask for running or not? That was kind of my intent, was, okay, doesn't ask for input, actions can all run as time automations in the background. So this could be every morning I want to listen. I just realized I'm showing you. Sorry about that. Here we go. Doesn't ask for input stuff can, let me show you again on my website here, matthewcasanelli.com/Siri shortcuts. And then this is some of the stuff that's available for members. If it doesn't ask for input in here, you can go in and have these run automatically. Let me just skip a couple pages in. Hope y'all aren't crashing my website. Some of these are also great for having as just kind of within other actions, that using that run shortcut thing. So not every single one of these is an automation, but I should create eventually the way, okay, you want to see automation actions, automation shortcuts. These ones are all great for it. Head to the poolside. Yeah, could get poolside FM every morning, right at the right time. That's a great one. So those are the personal automations. And this is a feature that I'm going to add more on my website soon, because I really focused on the shortcuts themselves and the actions. But now I'm going to go to town and I'm going to have a whole other action directory that explains how all of these automations work and ties in the actions and the shortcuts that I'm using in those automations. So that honestly might take me a couple of months or even by next year, but that's one of the reasons is like, if you do sign up for the annual thing now, you'll get all of that stuff when it does come out. There's going to be a whole apps module too, so I would highly recommend signing up now and just getting with it because there's going to be lots more shortcuts all the time. All right, going back out. Let me see, anything I'm missing? That sleep stuff. I didn't show you that because it's not showing up the same on here. Some of these do only show up on iPhone, so that's worth noting as well. iPhone additionally does have CarPlay if you have it. The Apple Watch workout ones are what show up here. NFC tag, that's the coolest thing in the world. And low power mode. iPad doesn't have that. But the NFC tag thing is, let me see, I got one right here on my desk that I can peel off, which is kind of terrible, but these little doohickeys right here, you can get these on Amazon. They're just little scanners, and when you tap your phone to that, it can run your shortcut too. I don't think this one is set up, but that's really cool. That's just like walk up and go boop, boop, and have it go off. So that's fun. Definitely recommend setting those up. And I'll have specific recommendations of my shortcuts from all of these automations up on my website as well soon. Follow Don's got the NFC tap on my one wheel for my pre-ride routine. Personal automations are very cool. I agree. All right. Let me see. Anything else particularly you guys are interested in? One of the main things that I'm not showing you guys today is the ability for third-party apps now to have more advanced shortcuts. I do have to show you the Siri experience. But third-party apps in iOS 14 now have more capabilities than they did in iOS 13 in regards to shortcuts. And I think specifically they're able to execute those actions in the app as opposed to an extension from the shortcut, which in general just means it has more memory and more capabilities. So stuff that many developers would have built with iOS 13 but kind of hit that ceiling, now they could build it in iOS 14 and do more with it. And a lot of this stuff all does have really rich Siri experiences already where they could, if you use that action, it can have custom phrases automatically spoken back to you. But that stuff is all, I'm going to do demos of that more as I integrate that all, because in case you weren't aware, Apple did drop iOS 14 one day after they released what's called the Golden Master. So even for people like me, we all assumed we were going to have a week because that's what Apple has always done, and they did not. So in case you're curious why I'm live streaming right now and haven't published my iOS 14 video, it's because it's not currently ready because I thought I had more time to work on it this week. But that's okay because I can still show you guys all this, and my shortcuts themselves have already been ready. So I was very thankful for that, but did get a little bit of the short end of the stick, and that was kind of frustrating. So just saying, can't deny it. That was a little bit harsh, and I would have had more for you guys today. So there's going to be a lot more coming. Definitely. Obviously, you're watching me on YouTube, so most likely subscribed, but the YouTube stuff is coming back with regularity. So some of those charging ones that I didn't show you before, just stuff like every time I charge, turns on dark mode. Okay, maybe I want to check the battery usage every single time, or check my screen time every single time I end up unplugging the phone. Oh, here it is. The battery stuff, my very low battery warning. If it's not on the iPad, it'll vibrate and turn on low power mode, but it's your device is about to die. It's at 47% now. Like I don't know about you guys, but I always dismiss low power mode and then I get to 1% and run over to the charger at the last second. So that one's basically for me. And even just if you want it 30%, 40%, different behaviors stuff, you can set that all now, which is cool. Even if you're concerned about watch battery life, you could turn the always on screen off and turn on cinema mode so it doesn't show when you raise your wrist. That's a great one. All right, let me see. That's another category I missed. The news app. Pretty simple action. Oops, wrong one. But you can now open into a specific topic. So I'm really getting into streaming and stuff, but I want to read more about it so I can go in and what's the latest news on Twitch? Who's being a weirdo or something? I don't know. Streamers are failing at Fall Guys and succeeding on Twitch. Great headline, Washington Post. But yeah, I built ones like, I want to learn more about guitar, but I always forget to go research it. So I want to learn more about amps. These are pretty weird topics, but hey, you really gotta. There is amp news, apparently. So that's great. You can go in, choose from menu, and set up your various different news preferences. All right. I think I'm going to show you guys the part that is just so much fun. This is what really takes shortcuts to the next level and is kind of a good demo of the new compact interface for many ways to run shortcuts that you've been seeing that pop over. But now they all work from the widget too. So this is by far the best way to run shortcuts because just from right here, I can just have, now that these all pop over from the top, I can run my same shortcuts and interact with them in the same types of ways. Pop open my newsletter list right from the widget. Right from the widget. There we go. These ones are fantastic. Like set the scene, speed dial, log my coffee. That one doesn't actually work there, but okay. Go into my creators list on Twitter, directly into here, and see what people are saying. How's everybody doing? Ant is amazing. You should all go follow him. Oh, he's on Twit and he's got awesome content. Got over here that change watch face one. This one works great from the phone. Change HDMI. I literally call the IP address of my television to change the input. That's something I'm going to share soon. I do see Thomas is saying any way to download all of your shortcuts. Yeah, if you are just tuning in, I have them on my website at matthewcassinelli.com. That's CASSINELLI. I guess you can see it on YouTube, but I've got all of these in here. And then up here, shortcuts library. These are all available in these little folders. Internet stuff here. This is all fun stuff. And then if you got the membership thing too, you have all these extra ways to browse. I don't even think I've looked at this CarPlay category. I think I might have one. Yeah, these are all ones you could use it while you're in the car. Pretty fun. Take the aux. Play some 10 random songs that have been played 5 times. All right. So the big thing, got distracted there, is the widget. But as you can see, widgets on iOS 14, this one's a little empty right now, but they can be stacked, which means that you can have as many shortcuts in one fold, up to 10 in one stack, and have whole different stacks for different purposes. There is no way to download all my shortcuts together. Sorry. I wish it was possible. I'll have to look into easier ways, but it's a little bit one by one right now. So I'll be sharing them in dribs and drabs too, so don't feel like you have to get them all at once. But okay, I'm going to bring it over because my iPad widgets, I've got a stack here, and then you can see I did my thing. And I did it over here too. I'm a madman. Oh yeah, here's a fun thing. When you're in jiggle mode, tap down here and you can hide your home screens now. This is what I was saying before. I put all of my shortcuts into folders. Oh, missing the tap target there. What is going on? Does that seriously not work? Okay, there we go. I put all of my shortcuts into the mini widget folders, and so I can have every single one of my shortcuts folders on my home screen. It's wild. And then I also have like the stacks of the folders, and I started to get into this whole experience. This is going to be completely changed, by the way. I moved it and then I moved it back to show you guys. But okay, so let's say I'm working on this here is I'm taking notes. I wanted to stack in that stack my research tasks from reminders and my research folder in notes, and then categories that I want to research in that stack. So in many ways, This is a good question. How do you stack them? As you drag them in, you have to put them physically on top of each other. And it's kind of a mess, honestly. Like, let me show you guys. But you can basically have little stacks that where you could have simply had one icon before, you could have a stack of 10 different things and multiple other apps. Here, that's how you drop it in. Then it becomes a stack there. You can tap on it and delete them, or I wish this showed you the folder because you don't know which one is which. That's a major feature request. But basically, you can have those little categories that you can also hide by time of day. So you could really have a whole custom home screen, like here's all reminder stuff. And then I, for example, I know the grocery app is something that I want to use. It could be stacked underneath that. I think a huge thing for apps is to have a set of shortcuts available for apps that people can put in the shortcuts widget underneath your app. So that's like a way that I definitely think, I'm losing my focus there. Hold on, let me grab that. That's a thing that I think every developer should do. And so this is where you can see I'm a little disappointed that the iPad didn't get the same kind of thing, because my sidebar over here is insanely long. It's very long. I shouldn't have said that, but there's tons of I've got 4 different music folders, and so I can keep them all in one place. So this is awesome. This is a great thing. I'm going to make a little demo video that'll show you more about that, but that is very cool. And I even have way, way down here, same thing as on my phone, stacks of Siri suggestions widgets. Is this just not the most anxiety-driving home screen you've ever seen? Look at how many apps are on there. That is dreadful. Oh, that's bad. But it's kind of awesome. I love those Siri suggestions widgets because it just shows you how you use this stuff, or maybe don't enough. I guess I did open the Stocks app, so maybe that is somewhat accurate, but that stuff is cool. Let me bring up the phone too. I think I'm going to walk you guys through the logic of my widget stacks in another video, because that's something that I spent some time on, is like, why is this one here? Why is that one there? And which ones are in which place? But there's so much to iOS 14. There's a ton. All right, I'm going to switch into question mode because you guys have left a ton of comments and I haven't been able to get into them yet. Oh, that's on my personal stuff. So I'm going to just go to town answering stuff. And if you have more, pop them in. They'll show up here on the right, but I'm going to kind of highlight these. All right, let me see. Hope everybody is doing well. Oh my gosh, I forgot to demo the Siri part of Siri shortcuts. Love it. Frozen. It is warm in here. Okay, let me do it on here. Then we'll also do some watch stuff. Log water. You can see a little bit more. How much did you drink? 12. I think I messed it up by saying something. Sometimes these, you know what? I'm going to hold off on that. It's true. This has been so buggy on iOS 14. That's going to be a mess. That's just not even going to go well. So I'm going to, trust me, it works better. And we'll get to it. You'll see soon. All right. Lots of widgets. Quality is doing great. Fantastical is a good one. Let me re-answer this question from before. Cody was saying, can I now run a shortcut that auto runs when I leave a geofence? So as I was saying, the location stuff doesn't work. But what you can do is, if it is generally around a time of day, you could have it check for your location using get my current location and the if action. So basically the shortcut could tell, oh, okay, it's going to run at this certain time of day, but if I'm not in the right location, it just does nothing. Otherwise, it does do it. So there are some ways. Otherwise, I would definitely recommend NFC tags. All right. Anyone having problems with Siri shortcuts on HomePod? Yes, very much. Often stuff that runs from Siri can not behave the same as if it ran from shortcuts itself. That's something I think that also needs to get addressed more. But there is a lot of single stuff. If you do sign up on the website, those simple shortcuts, a lot of that stuff should work. Also, things that don't open the app will almost always work, but it does depend on the action. That's part of it. That's also why I tried to curate some of the information about the actions, because it is confusing which ones work and which ones don't. Like over here, if it opens the app, it won't work. The background process stuff will work. Oh, that's not working. I think actually, you know what? I think almost every single one of them always. Okay, that's what's broken. That's good to know. Sorry about that, folks. I did not realize that. I will get that switched. All right. How many folders you got? You already asked that. I already answered that. We're watching you. Thank you very much. This is a great comment. Next year, nested folders. Haha. Yes, I would love it. Folders for my folders, please. Can a shortcut be in more than one folder? Unfortunately, not. That is one thing that shortcuts... Here, let me bring myself in for most of these. That is one thing that shortcuts cannot do right now, is kind of the tag model. There is a way to do it with launch cuts, which is a folder or an app built by an independent developer that lets you kind of do the same folder type structure. So I'll definitely check that out. Let me see. I can imagine shortcuts are quite powerful, but it seems overwhelming to begin with. Or I read that slightly wrong. But yes, shortcuts is confusing. And this, I should say too, my whole website experience, what I wanted to, that's why I want to just give you the shortcuts themselves, because now in future videos, I can just show you how they work. And I don't, on some level, the membership stuff, you will get exclusive shortcuts and things like that ahead of when they get released publicly. But I want it to just be, you can get this, download, look through it, and then I'll do more live streams like this where people can follow along and see how to build the shortcuts. Because that, sometimes it can take an hour to build a shortcut. Turning that into a watchable YouTube video is not always the same, but the live stream stuff can kind of keep you there. But there's a lot. I think just to bring that back and reiterate, if anybody out there feels bad about not being able to understand shortcuts, please do not, because it is such a confusing app. This is programming. Like this is, I didn't even know until when I worked at Shortcuts, and let me show you, or I worked at Workflow at the time, and I didn't know that you could do the thing. That's not going to open as I need to demo it, but when you tap on an icon to show more information, I didn't even know that. Yeah, this mode, I did not know that was possible. And then all of this stuff was never even revealed to me until I worked there. So like, I can't blame the team at all, because they've made the most powerful app and it is very confusing, and making a good comprehensive onboarding experience is something that I hope they're working on, because it's got to be a huge challenge. It's teaching you, oh, here's just touch programming. But I want to reiterate that you shouldn't feel bad if you don't immediately get into variables and have a shortcut running another shortcut set up with the back tap thing and a time automation to change your watch faces. Like, there's so much here that it's going to take people time to get into it. So just to reiterate, it's like, it's not you, it's shortcuts. And there is stuff that I think pretty much everybody can learn, and it can take time. Some of it's difficult, but there's a lot of value here that we can get from it. I'm going to skip to some more recent ones so I don't just leave you guys hanging. Is there any way to toggle scribble using a shortcut? I don't believe that's necessary, because it's talking about if you have an Apple Pencil, you can draw into text fields. Let me just show you, actually. Let me search for... Oh, it's paired with the other iPad. Boo, boo, boo. I have one called handwriting. Is this not going to work? Shortcuts is frozen, isn't it? I think sometimes you have to let that menu fully go away. And I'm assuming I'm going to need to crash this. Test. Man, Scribble's just not working right now. All right. Well, great, lovely demo process as well. But I do have handwriting shortcuts that I'm going to get. This is what I was going to get to, is that it should just work automatically. But if you're using handwriting in the Apple Notes app, I actually figured this out last year. You've been able to copy out the text of your notes since last year because it basically detected it. And then if you used this action, it'll get the note, get the text of the note and be like, hey, we recognize this. I think Apple maybe didn't want to tell people because it didn't work fantastic. But now that the Scribble thing, it's like you could still use this and copy that stuff out the same way that you do manually. See, look, something's going on there with the pencil. All right. I just saw this, but why do you have so many shortcuts? That is absolutely true. I guess for anyone tuning in right now, there's a lot less people before. I used to work at Workflow. So I basically worked on what is now the Shortcuts app. I built what's in the gallery. A lot of this stuff is from my time there. And they've actually added a lot new ones now, which is fantastic. But I worked with the team, learned that kind of stuff, wrote the documentation. And then once we got acquired, I was a little bit like, I wanted to work on this small team sort of thing. And so I ended up going on my own. But since then, I've been building tons of shortcuts. A lot of this stuff, I will say some of them are just demo things, but I did kind of try to hit the, like, what is possible with shortcuts. And a lot of stuff is like, I want to push myself to use this more. The new widgets and the new time automations really bring that forward out of the app. I think that's something that, like, if this was my product review right now, I think one of my conclusions is that what's new with iOS 14 really does, let me bring myself in for a dramatic effect. What's new with iOS 14 is really about extensibility of your apps, because now the shortcuts stuff is so embedded onto the home screen. Especially the widgets for the apps are going to be a new way to explore your apps and use them without actually being in them. I think the app library is going to be a major contribution to this because, like, in my experience, a lot of those apps are now live in the app library. They're not going to be on my home screen. There's a lot of widgets, and those are great, but I also have so many widgets and just widgets on widgets on widgets. Clearly, I'm saying it so many times, it's widgets. It's like that Ted Lasso thing. It's going to be too much. And so I think apps are going to have to lean in more to shortcuts and some voice stuff of, here's the way to use your app without having to have it on my home screen. It's already not on my home screen. It's only in those widgets, and I'm going to be using those with shortcuts. So I think that's an important thing, is it's worth investing in shortcuts now because Apple is prioritizing it more deeply into the ecosystem, and it's just how iOS works. I think it always is kind of frustrating to me to see a lot of the tech press not talk about it. Like, obviously, I'm the most biased person in the world, but at the same time, this has been how the OS works for the last 2 to 3 years, and it seems like a lot of people aren't bought into the idea. And it's I don't blame you. It's hard. Like I said that before, it's incredibly difficult, but I think it's going to be the kind of thing that is going to, it's under the word Siri. I think Apple cares about Siri. And again, I will say, too, disclaimer, I have no idea what they're doing. I didn't even know the word shortcuts before I left. So I'm totally in the dark on that, but I have been in this world since then. And it seems clear they aren't quite mentioning it in the keynotes, so we'll see when they push it to the larger public, but the power is all there. And I think, as you've kind of seen today, there's some rough edges that need to get ironed out, but as soon as every single time people are like, now it's worth using, I'm like, just so you know, most of this functionality has been in there, and so it's up to you to get in there and dive into it. There is some of the stuff that maybe isn't quite ready yet, or it's like a little confusing to set up, but that's why I think we're all going to try to learn it together. Like, I still need to learn more. There's obviously, this works with every single app on your device, and I have 1,500 ways 1,500 ways that I can use this thing. And I need to cut that down and not just create shortcuts to share, but to actually use for everybody. But thank you for joining me in the process, because it is like a whole new world. The way Apple does it has been changing, and there's a lot of capabilities. All right, I want to automate the sending of heart rate data in a table or something every month. Let me pull that one in. This is a great one. I might turn this into a special request thing, but if you use the log health sample, let me just do it real quick. This is what I love. I'm so excited to be able to just build these shortcuts and share them for you and put them on my website and let you download them, because that's like the best part. Let's do it. I won't be able to build the whole chart thing, but will show you real quick how this is even possible. Go into the health app, find health samples. Type is, what was it? Heart rate. Oh no, I was going to say I've been having this health bug. Start rate is in the last 7 days. Group it by day. Field missing. Let's see what we got there. Those are probably the totals. Maybe don't group. Okay, I might not actually do this whole thing, but you can get that heart rate data. And then the fun thing is, doing every minute, that's not going to work well. But what you do is you use comma separated values. So you get that data, and then you put a comma, and then you put something like the date to mark the time or whatever. And then you use set name to .csv, comma separated value, and that will turn your text blob into a spreadsheet. And you can pass that and open it into something like numbers. There is also the Charty app, which I definitely recommend as a way to pass this data in and put it in a little chart and show it on your home screen on a widget. So there's such cool stuff you can do with that. I'll have to create more with that. That's a great idea. Where can I find the HomePod speaker control shortcut? This one, which I have, where did I throw it? Change speaker is, let me see. Probably just in speaker control here. This one's great. It uses, I believe it's in here. Maybe it's at the bottom. Oh, you know what? I did it again. This is one of my widget things, so I didn't share it. Or maybe it's here in the launch category. It's quick moves. Those should be in multiple groups, so that was a mistake. Oh, there's the user group one. There's one of them. I'll have to find that, but I will send that to you. But what the shortcut does is it uses handoff and passes my music to my HomePod and or back, or to my AirPods and things like that. If I have a Sonos, it just airplays it. These are great. Let me bring in another one. I mentioned this before, but can you create a shortcut in changing the home screen based on location? You could use a time of day automation to check whether or not your location has changed and then change your Apple Watch face, but you cannot change the home screens. I also, again, request the change home screen action from the Apple team. Can you create a shortcut that does a lookup of your calendar events based on the ask for input? Is that like the name of the calendar? Yeah, totally. That's a great one. Schedule here. I think I don't. Let me see. Processing. Computing. This would be something like ask for input, and then you would do find calendar events where the start date is in the next 7 days. You add this filter in. Shortcuts live. Calendar is, and then you would do, I guess you would choose the calendar first, iCloud, and then you would do the title contains, and then the provided input. You pass in that variable there, it connects the two together, and then you're like, what's the name of the event? And then that should pass it out. I'm not going to show you my calendar information, but that kind of thing should work. So I will save that and maybe turn it into something. Search for an event. I also like to, this is just a total stylistic thing, but I literally hit, let me try it again because it's one of those, I think I hit the shift key before if you hit the shift key once entirely, it will not capitalize the next thing. When there's a new thing, it's all caps. We go boom, shift, G, it will stay lowercase. It's an iPad thing. Search for an event. Cool. I will share that one in my newsletter tomorrow. Yeah, I also, if you missed that earlier, I'd say the best way to keep up, in addition to watching all these videos and things, is I have this new newsletter. Actually, I think it's in here now. But this, What's New in Shortcuts, is a newsletter that I'm just going to send out every Friday. It's just going to be these links. It's like, what's the air quality? Here's information about this. And in case you guys don't necessarily immediately recognize it, this is exactly what the What's New in ALEXA emails look like. So I was trying to maybe stick it to Jeff Bezos a little bit for making $1 billion while the rest of us are suffering. Just getting a little political there. All right, let's do some more. Did your shortcuts get put into the reverse order after iOS 14 update? They did in one beta. That was fixed and apparently reverted, so that sucks. Dear God, that sucks. It did definitely happen to me, and I did have to rearrange all of these, but that's personally why I chose to do the colors as well, in case that ever happens, because I know immediately looking at any of my shortcuts, is it red? That is an Apple Music one, or it's for YouTube, or my calendar. All of those have the red association to me. So is it orange? It's got to be something related to the smart home, is how I did it. Or I guess that's golden. This darker orange is reminder stuff, text, messaging, green, health stuff is kind of blue was left over. Reading stuff is all links because blue like the internet. Weather stuff, the weather widget was blue, and on iPad I was like, I can't not match. Let me see if it's going to let me scroll. It's not going to let me do it. These are all stacks. Maybe this one's gone, but it's supposed to have the weather widget stacked on top and stuff like that. So I got a little bit. I'll specify my entire color system in a blog post and maybe another video sometime soon. All right, let me keep going. You are a great man. Thank you, sir. Is there a way to return to a previous state after a set time? Like lights on to 25% at sunset, 100% with motion, and then 25% after 5 minutes? That is a great question. Lights on at sunset. That can be done with a time automation. And then here, let me put it back in. The motion stuff, I feel like these would all be separate home things that would just happen. The part about after 5 minutes, I haven't really tested using the wait action. Ooh, let me show you this in case people don't know about this. If you want to create a home automation and use some extra shortcuts features, what you have to do is go down here. Oh, wait, which one? It's in here. At the very bottom, there's this convert to shortcut button. And this will let you use a subset of the total shortcuts actions. So like some scripting stuff. And one of those is wait. So you could have it wait 5 minutes and then do it. But I honestly would need to test that. But that's some pretty powerful stuff. Although it is limited to only these categories and only some actions. So basically, if you are a developer or API type person, you can do web requests. The other good one would be weather. It's like, is it rainy? Turn the lights blue. Excuse me. All right. I think that's pretty much good for that one. How do you do home screen rotation on iOS 14? I'm not sure. I believe there's usually a setting for that. How does the YouTube picture-in-picture shortcut work? This one, I actually found this online. I believe Simon Stovring, I don't know how to actually say it. built this. It uses Scriptable to take what's on the web page and scrape out the information and just grab the picture-in-picture thing, which is cool. So this is the whole JavaScript thing that runs. I guess asking the question as I then got to it. You'll see. Can I add a widget in iOS 14? Just crash there. Like how much calories I've burned, distance travel, and workout time. That to me sounds like Widget Smith from David Smith. And I haven't actually tried a lot of it, but it is a way that you can have basically custom little scripts happen and show up on your widget automatically. Although basically you could also do a time automation and pass your stuff into Charty, and it could show there automatically for you. So that's a great one as well. There's going to be many ways. There's a lot of innovative development in this area that people are coming up with cool apps and ways that you can use widgets and shortcuts all together. Shortcuts powering something that updates in the widget is a very, very good thing. You could have it with Siri, have it go off, NFC tag stuff. Ooh, that's fun. Can you create a task and reminders from text messages? Unfortunately, no. And this is something I also think the shortcuts team should add, is the ability for you to get messages or get emails with those automations. Because that's part of it right now, is you can have an email come in that says weekly reports, but you can't actually grab the contents of that email using that automation. They're only triggers. And so that would be nice. I think, again, security stuff, probably there's got to be. Oh man, can you imagine if you could just have, like, it could just scrape your stuff, could scrape your email or your messages stuff. So I think Apple's moving a little slow in those personal information areas. The Tech Republic is asking about that YouTube pip thing. Scriptable on Twitter, I believe, is the one where he's been sharing it. That's not actually my shortcut, so I haven't shared it yet, but I might make my own version or something. We'll see. Let me see. Have you used the Spotify API to autoplay playlists or songs with the shortcuts? I have not, but I'm pretty sure this is fairly possible. There's definitely stuff out there. Look on our shortcuts on Reddit. I'm actually one of the moderators, but there's a lot of people on there talking about shortcuts every day. It's an awesome community, and there's tons of stuff there. Let me go back to some of these earlier comments because I did miss. Don't want you guys to feel left out. Ooh, good question, Jeff. With all these shortcuts, how often do you see yourself doing tasks that you specifically made a shortcut for? Let me process that. With these, do you see yourself doing tasks? So are you saying, am I doing the thing that I made the shortcut for because I made the shortcut? Or is it, am I using these shortcuts when I'm doing the task? I'm not sure if Jeff is still on, but that's a good question. There's definitely, I do create shortcuts that enable me to do something that I wouldn't have done without shortcuts. That's absolutely something that shortcuts is really valuable for, that I think people don't see as you, like, why would you get a tool and then do something you've never done before? It's like naturally, that's one of the just like native things about being ignorant about something, and not in any sort of negative way. It's just like, if you don't know, you don't know. So how would you download a tool to do something new that you don't even do in the first place? But I think that's where, once you kind of solve the problems that you can do with shortcuts, then it's like, oh, what other areas could I do this with? Like, that's definitely something I'm doing with my work, is I have a whole set of production shortcuts that I've planned but don't actually have any actions. Like, these are how I plan my videos, these steps, but I was like, how can I use shortcuts to help me accomplish this step, whereas otherwise I might struggle with it. Like, kind of, I went through this and thought of everything I possibly could and then made a shortcut for it, so that when I'm like, all right, I need to work on the script of it, I'm just going to tap this and it'll open the script, and I don't want to think about it. Like, a lot of these aren't necessarily always something that's like, why would I download a shortcut from somebody just to open one app? But if you have it as part of your workflow, then it can kind of become something you rely on. Shortcuts itself can suggest it to you. Ooh, I didn't even mention the single shortcut widget. Where is it? I've got one in here somewhere. These were broken, and so I didn't end up using them a lot yet. But as you can see, I could have 1,500 individual widgets. But you have a new single shortcut widget that you can put in these stacks. And Siri, using this smart rotate thing, could know that, oh, it's time for you to work on your script because you always do that Wednesday afternoon and stuff like that. So those are some of those things that it's like I'm inventing ways to use shortcuts for myself, but it's still really powerful, especially if you live that shortcuts life, I think is a big part of it. And have this widget show up at the right time under the right app. And also, I would say, like I'm an iOS power user as well. So I'm doing all of my stuff on here besides streaming and podcasts that a lot of people just don't even get into that realm. But again, bear with me. There will be lots of videos. I will get you guys there. It might take us literally the next year to get through all of this stuff that I've got, but there's a lot of fun, and I hope you guys stick with it because there's cool stuff. Like, don't expect that you're going to have a library of 500 and maybe you only need 10 that are really, really useful, but it can start to really streamline how you use your phone and your iPad and your smart home gear and your Apple TV and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty cool. Whew, that one was a long-winded one. And yeah, Rahul, I don't know how to use these. Yes, we'll get there. How's everybody doing? I'm feeling pretty warm right now, and I've been going for a solid 2 hours. So I'm curious, is there stuff people specifically want to see right now? Or maybe I could show off some of the widgets from people that I've been promoting over on my Twitter account. Oh man, I forgot. Just to bring this back in, you can paste with the standard 3-finger paste gesture. If you guys missed this earlier on, we figured this out, or I guess I just didn't know about it. But if you go in and use these new copy features, you can just paste, and it'll paste it in there doing that new iPad thing. That's so cool. Okay, let me get some more. People are talking about the Spotify stuff. Here's a good question. What are your thoughts about iPad on iOS not having app library? I think this is pretty disappointing. Like, I would have gone pages and pages, and I think you can see here I have tons of stuff. This one is just full of apps I'm testing. This one is full of apps that I haven't organized yet, and it's just like tons and tons. So I really would have liked it. I do feel like this is the kind of thing, having a slight insight into what it's like to work at Apple. This is the kind of thing that if they didn't get right, they're going to punt it until they get it right, which is okay because it could be crummy. I could also see the kind of thing where they need to have widgets in order for them to work on the iPad. They didn't before, but now they do. It's kind of like the iPhone gives the developers the time to get the widgets, and then once they make the widgets better and on iPad, then it'll be a whole complete experience. It kind of went the same way with shortcuts. They first came out with a base layer of shortcuts so that you could build off of that and didn't just come in with full, super powerful shortcut actions that nobody knew how to use. So that's definitely a room for them to improve. I will have a beginner's guide to shortcuts coming soon. It's honestly legitimately hard for me because I have so many that if you want a beginner's guide, I have 300 actions. There's a lot. But I will say the documentation that I did, it's been updated since I wrote it, but there was a lot in here that came from the original workflow documentation of how shortcuts works. And these are all these different categories here that show you the very, very basics. So like, go look at this if you haven't already, because this is so much stuff. This is awesome. All these home automations, personal automation stuff is new. I even wrote this thing in here about getting web API requests using Dark Sky, which this needs to be updated because they bought them since then. I was always curious if they're like, hey, this is a great API. Maybe we should use it. But this literally teaches you how to do JSON requests and stuff like that. So it's pretty fancy. Is there anything wrong with stacking one in one shortcut, and will it be fixed? I don't. If there isn't anything wrong, then it doesn't need to be fixed. But I think it should be fine. You could stack up to 10 individual shortcuts, and it should work. I think I just didn't have it set up. I'd love to see some neat automation ideas. I have some more of these, but I gotta put them together for you guys in one space. I think right now they got deleted from my phone in one of the betas, and so that definitely pulled it apart. And I have my list, but I got to put it together for the next video for you. Nathan, do you think we could replace if this then that with shortcuts? Stop using if this then that. Somewhat. If this then that is the pipes on the internet, and shortcuts is the pipes on your phone. It connects the apps between together. It is if this and that for iPhone. If this and that is shortcuts for the web. Like they are pretty much, except that even in many ways, if this and that is one step a lot of times and pretty limited, and shortcuts can do it. But if this and that is basically all personal automations that run in the background, whereas shortcuts, there's a lot of stuff that you do need to manually trigger, so that might not always happen the same way. But there is ways to use them both in tandem. I definitely use this if this and that as well. All right, I think I'm going to call this one because I've been going for a while, and I really appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been super fun. I'm going to have a lot more about a lot of these individual folders and the actions, the automations that come through, specific examples. Those videos will be minutes long, not hours long, so it won't be this type of thing. But I totally hope you guys tune in to future live streams because I'm going to be doing a lot of this stuff. I think there's a lot of value in seeing me build it in real time and how I can explain my thought process. But otherwise, I would love it if people signed up for my membership because that is a super motivating thing for me. It also is just a great way to learn more about it. I'm going to be adding more and more over time. Here is the membership page up here in my sidebar. If you do sign up for the membership, you will automatically be signed into the newsletter. So you'll be getting that every Friday too, which will be fun. I'm going to try to send that before. I'll say this too. You guys should tune into Relay FM's live stream tomorrow. I think it's 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. It might be longer. But they're promoting St. Jude Children's Hospital, which is an organization that I believe through their own efforts has reduced the rates of childhood cancer in the world, which is amazing. And last year, Relay donated almost $300,000. I don't remember exactly. It was almost $300,000. I think this year they're going to probably hit $500,000. So I highly recommend you guys tune in tomorrow and watch their stream too. That's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm pretty sure Mike has like a whole ball pit balloon thing that he built in his office. So there's going to be a lot there. I recommend you guys totally donate to St. Jude instead of signing up for my membership if that's a choice you have to make, because that is a much better cause. But again, more about that newsletter. This will go out on Friday. Another little sample, what's new in shortcuts. And this stuff, it'll be linking to things that are public all at the top. And then I will have a members section that's like, here's the exclusive stuff. So I'll try not to I don't want you guys to hit paywalls as much as possible. It's just what's there is there. And then you can sign up to get even more. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you feel like sharing my membership stuff, again, that's always very wonderful. It really does go a long way, but also do whatever you want to do. All right, folks, thank you again for tuning in. I will be sharing a lot more, and please always feel free to reach out to me, send me a DM if you have questions, and we can learn more about shortcuts together. It's going to be a fun process, and there's 300 actions alone to go through, but there's going to be a lot of value that's going to come out of iOS 14. So I'm looking forward to showing it to you all. And